All right, so welcome to today's deep dive, and we're going to be unpacking some interesting ideas about dating.
Okay.
Specifically, we're going to be taking a look at a YouTube video from the channel Smart Girl Philippines.
Right.
That offers, well, let's just say a particular perspective on why someone might be interested in dating younger Filipinas.
Interesting.
Now, you might be familiar with Smart Girl Philippines. They're all about empowering women to be their best selves. But this video takes a bit of a different approach.
I see.
And just to clarify right off the bat, we're not here to judge anyone's dating preferences or anything like that.
Of course not.
We're just going to kind of dissect the arguments that are presented in the video.
Okay.
Highlight some of the key points, and maybe spark a little healthy debate along the way.
Sounds good.
So the video is titled, 6 Reasons You Should Date a Younger Filipina. And right off the bat, it emphasizes this concept of being the first. The YouTuber Rain really plays up this idea that you would be the first boyfriend, the first date to certain places, the first to experience all sorts of things with this hypothetical young Filipino woman.
Interesting. So you're saying there's an emphasis on novelty.
Yeah, it's all about the newness.
I see.
And it makes you wonder about the cultural weight placed on novelty and inexperience, particularly for women.
That's a really good point.
Like, how do these ideas about experience and relationships play out in Filipino culture?
Well, it's a complex question.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a strong emphasis on courtship and family values.
Great.
And a woman's romantic history can definitely have an impact on her social standing.
So the video almost seems to imply that being the first is like some sort of trophy or a badge of honor for the man.
It sounds like it.
But wouldn't you say that novelty eventually wears off in any relationship?
Absolutely.
What happens when the newness fades?
Right. Well, while those new experiences can be exciting in the beginning, a lasting relationship needs more substance. Things like shared values, mutual respect, emotional maturity, those are the real foundations of a strong partnership. And it doesn't really matter what age you are.
Right. And the video seems to overlook that a bit.
It does seem that way.
It's almost like the video suggesting that a woman's worth is somehow tied to her lack of romantic experience.
That's an interesting observation.
Which is kind of a problematic concept, don't you think?
It is. And it leads us right into the second point that's highlighted in the video.
Okay.
Which is all about beauty and age.
All right, let's hear it.
Now, Rain gets pretty blunt here.
Okay.
She compares younger Filipinas to roses that are blooming. And then she compares older women to well-wilted flowers that are losing their petals.
Ouch. That's a pretty harsh analogy.
It is. And it really highlights this pressure that women face not just in the Philippines, but across many cultures to conform to certain beauty standards.
Yeah.
It's like saying a woman's value is directly linked to her youth and her physical appearance, which totally devalues all the experiences and the wisdom that come with getting older.
It's like there's this unspoken timer on women.
Yeah.
And their beauty has like an expiration date.
Right. It's a very limited view.
And I think about how the media portrays women of different ages.
Yes.
You see these youthful, flawless images everywhere.
Exactly.
And it creates this really unrealistic expectation for everyone.
Absolutely. And it can be so damaging, you know, it leads to feelings of inadequacy and insecurity.
Of course.
And it's important to remember that beauty comes in many forms, and it definitely does not disappear with age.
Right.
In fact, many women feel more confident and beautiful as they get older because they embrace the journey that they've been on.
Okay, let's move on to point number 3.
All right.
We've got the no baggage argument.
Yes.
Rain claims that younger Filipinas have no kids, no responsibilities, and are always free to go on dates.
Now, that's where things get a bit tricky.
Yeah.
It makes you think about those societal perceptions of women who do have baggage, so to speak, like single mothers, for example.
Right.
Research shows that single mothers often face a lot of bias and are perceived as less desirable partners.
Right.
And it's not just about perceptions either. There are real economic realities at play, too.
I see.
Many women in the Philippines and really globally face financial challenges, especially if they're raising children on their own.
So it almost feels like the video is suggesting that single mothers or older women who might have other commitments are somehow less desirable partners.
It's definitely a narrow perspective.
Which is kind of messed up.
It is, and it ignores the fact that many women, regardless of their age or relationship status, lead incredibly fulfilling lives.
Of course.
They have careers, they have families, they have passions. Their lives are not just waiting for a man to come and complete them.
Right. So we've got this focus on youth and appearance, combined with this idea that a desirable partner should be free from any past experiences or responsibilities.
Exactly.
feels a bit one-sided.
It does.
Like, what about the woman's needs and desires?
That's an excellent point. And actually, that leads perfectly into the next point that Rain makes in the video.
Okay.
Which is all about this idea of freedom and teachability in younger women.
All right, let's dive into that.
Which she links to their supposed lack of responsibilities. She even goes so far as to suggest that men can, like, teach younger Filipinas how to be the ideal girlfriend.
Okay, now that's getting a bit unsettling, isn't it?
Yeah.
This whole notion of, like, molding someone into your ideal partner.
It is a little bit, yeah.
Makes you wonder about the power dynamics at play, especially in relationships with a significant age gap.
You're right. Healthy relationships are about mutual respect and growth. You know, it's not about one person dictating who the other should be.
Right.
And to suggest that younger women are just these blank slates waiting to be shaped by a man, well, it just completely ignores their individuality and their own agency.
It's like she's forgetting that Filipino women are individuals with their own thoughts, feelings, and aspirations.
Absolutely. And, you know, this leads us to the fifth point, which honestly made me chuckle a bit when I first heard it. Oh, really? What'd she say?
Rain uses this analogy where she compares women to cars.
Okay.
And she asks, you want to buy the brand new or the second hand? What you want? The brand new.
Wow. Okay, so not only is that incredibly objectifying, it's just strange. I mean, comparing a human being to a used car, come on.
It is dehumanizing, to say the least.
Yeah.
And it plays into this larger issue of objectification that we often see in these discussions about dating, where women are reduced to commodities or possessions,
right,
rather than being seen as complex individuals.
It's like she's overlooking the fact that people, regardless of their age, have lived experiences that shape who they are.
Exactly.
And to just dismiss those experiences as baggage is not only insensitive, but incredibly short-sighted.
I couldn't agree more. So then we get to her final point, and this one plays on this idea of younger Filipinas being more carefree and less dramatic.
Interesting.
She paints this picture of older women as being bitter and grumpy and constantly jealous.
Oh, wow.
While younger women are supposedly all about fun travel and shopping. Hold on a second. That's a pretty sweeping generalization, isn't it? To say that all older women are bitter and jealous while all younger women are drama-free? I mean, I've met plenty of mature women who are incredibly fun-loving and adventurous, and I've also encountered my fair share of younger women who could be quite dramatic.
You're absolutely right. You know, it's not about age at all.
Yeah.
It's about individual personalities and experiences.
Right.
To suggest that emotional maturity is somehow tied to your age is just plain wrong.
Yeah. It's like she's saying that dating a younger woman guarantees a drama-free experience, which, let's be real, is just not realistic in any relationship.
Precisely. Conflicts are bound to happen in any relationship, regardless of the age difference. It's how you navigate those conflicts that really matters.
Right.
And that requires communication, empathy, and a willingness to understand each other's perspectives. And that has nothing to do with age.
Okay, so we've spent a lot of time unpacking these 6 reasons from Rain's video. And I have to say, I'm finding myself more and more skeptical of this whole narrative that she's presenting.
I understand why.
It feels very skewed towards what the man supposedly gains from dating a younger Filipina, without any consideration for what the woman might be looking for.
That's a really crucial observation. You know, this video completely ignores the perspectives and desires of Filipino women themselves.
Like maybe a young Filipino woman is looking for a partner who shares her intellectual interests, or who supports her career ambitions, or who values her for more than just her youth and appearance.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to go beyond these surface-level generalizations,
Right,
and really engage with more diverse perspectives. If you're genuinely interested in understanding dating and relationships, you need to seek out voices from a variety of backgrounds and experiences.
So don't just rely on one YouTube video or any single source of information for that matter.
Exactly. Talk to people, listen to their stories, do your own research, and form your own informed opinions.
And remember, relationships are complex and nuanced. They can't be reduced to simple equations or checklists like the ones presented in this video.
I agree. So, you know, we've had some really great discussions today, but I think there's one more important point to touch on before we wrap up.
Okay, what's that?
Well, throughout this whole video, there's this recurring theme of younger Filipinas being more teachable.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, kind of rubs me the wrong way.
I know what you mean.
It feels a bit patronizing, you know?
It does.
Like they're being viewed as projects rather than equal partners.
Exactly. Like assuming that younger Filipinas are somehow blank slates.
Right.
just waiting for a man to come along and write their story.
And that completely disregards their agency and individuality.
Right. These women have their own hopes and dreams and aspirations.
Of course.
Which might not at all align with what's presented in this video.
Absolutely. And that's precisely why it's so important to move beyond these superficial generalizations.
Yeah.
And really engage with diverse perspectives.
Mm-hmm. This video offers just one very narrow viewpoint.
It does.
But there's a whole world of experiences and perspectives out there.
Right.
So for anyone listening who's interested in learning more about dating and relationships,
yes,
especially in the context of Filipino culture, our advice is simple.
Okay.
Don't rely on a single source of information.
Exactly. Do your own research, engage with diverse voices, and most importantly, listen to what Filipino women themselves have to say about their own hopes and dreams and priorities in relationships.
I think this deep dive has been incredibly insightful.
Me too.
Even if it sparked more questions than answers.
Well, that's the beauty of critical thinking, isn't it?
It is.
It challenges us to question assumptions and delve deeper into these complex issues.
So to wrap things up, I want to leave you with this.
Okay.
Relationships are complex and multifaceted. Don't let simplistic narratives or stereotypes dictate your understanding of love and connection.
I like that.
Stay curious, keep learning, and always strive to see the world from multiple perspectives.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
And until next time, stay informed and keep those critical thinking skills sharp.